we read text 43 of chapter 13 of Canto 10. So we're now on text 44. Text 44 reads, Evam samohayan Vishnum vimoham vishvamohanam svayaiva mayaya jogi svayameva vimohita. Translation. Thus, because Lord Brahma wanted to mystify the all-pervading Lord Krishna, who can never be mystified, but who, on the contrary, mystifies the entire universe, he himself was put into bewilderment by his own mystic power. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Brahma wanted to bewilder Krishna, who bewilders the entire universe. The whole universe is under Krishna's mystic power, Mama Maya Dhiratyaya, but Brahma wanted to mystify him. The result was that Brahma himself was mystified, just as one who wants to kill another may himself be killed. In other words, Brahma was defeated by his own attempt. In a similar position are the scientists and philosophers who want to overcome the mystic power of Krishna. They challenge Krishna, saying, "What is God? We can do this and we can do that." But the more they challenge Krishna in this way, the more they are implicated in suffering. The lesson here is that we should not try to overcome Krishna. Rather, instead of endeavoring to surpass him, we should surrender to him. Sarvadharman parityagya mamekam sharanam vraja. Instead of defeating Krishna, Brahma himself was defeated, for he could not understand what Krishna was doing. Since Brahma, the chief person within this universe, was so bewildered, what is to be said of so-called scientists and philosophers? Sarvadharman parityagya mamekam sharanam vraja. We should give up all our tiny efforts to defy the arrangement of Krishna. Instead, whatever arrangements he proposes, we should accept. This is always better, for this will make us happy. The more we try to defeat the arrangement of Krishna, the more we become implicated in Krishna's Maya, Devyesha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Dhiratyaya. But one who has reached the point of surrendering to the instructions of Krishna, Mamevaye Prapadyante, is liberated, free from Krishna Maya, Mayam Etam Turantite. The power of Krishna is just like a government that cannot be overcome. First of all, there are laws, and then there is police power, and beyond that is military power. Therefore, what is the use of trying to overcome the power of the government? Similarly, what is the use of trying to challenge Krishna? From the next verse, it is clear that Krishna cannot be defeated by any kind of mystic power. If one gets even a little power of scientific knowledge, one tries to defy God. But actually, no one is able to bewilder Krishna. When Brahma, the chief person within the universe, tried to bewilder Krishna, he himself was bewildered and astonished. This is the position of the conditioned soul. Brahma wanted to mystify Krishna, but he himself was mystified. The word Vishnu is significant in this verse. Vishnu pervades the entire material world, whereas Brahma merely occupies one subordinate post. That's from Brahma Samhita 5.48. The word Nata, which refers to Lord Brahma, is plural because there are innumerable universes and innumerable Brahmas. Brahma is but a tiny force. This was exhibited in Dwarka when Krishna called for Brahma. One day, when Brahma came to see Krishna at Dwarka, the doorman at Krishna's request asked, "Which Brahma are you?" Later, when Brahma inquired from Krishna whether this meant that there was more than one Brahma, Krishna smiled and at once called for many Brahmas from many universes. The four-headed Brahma of this universe then saw innumerable other Brahmas coming to see Krishna and offer their respects. Some of them had 10 heads, some had 20, some had 100, and some had 1,000,000 heads. Upon seeing this wonderful exhibition, the four-headed Brahma became nervous and began to think of himself as no more than a mosquito in the midst of many elephants. Therefore, what can Brahma do to bewilder Krishna? Hare Krishna. So I'm feeling Prabhupada's urgency in reading the purport here. And this, I mean, I really see this purport. It's just very succinctly and potently summarizes the whole 5 principles of conscious living, material context thing. That, and Prabhupada's giving a way to describe it, you know, that, well, it's a very fresh way to describe it. Saying like the government is a context, and there are laws, and then there's the police, and then there's the military, and they've got an air force like that. So we can try to be happy by like, I'm going to drive on the left side of the road, I'm going to steal things, but it's just like it's resisting the context as opposed to surrendering to the context the government has established. Then we're happy. So similarly, he's comparing atheistic scientists and philosophers to Brahma, and instead of surrendering to Krishna, trying to resist. It's trying to resist the government of Krishna. It's like fighting, resisting the material context, denying it, and that it's quite foolish, like Brahma's whole attempt. Prabhupada kept saying, Brahma tried to mystify Krishna, and he himself became mystified, became bewildered. And then ultimately Brahma surrendered. Ultimately stopped trying to change the context. Hare Krishna. Yes. Yeah, so Prabhupada he's taking, because this could be seen as some sort of fairy tale, and he's taking it and making it so grounded and applicable. We can have this is like the last breaths, the last days of his manifest pastimes. And so he's taking this opportunity of this verse, Brahmaviman Lila, to expose atheistic scientists and philosophers. Because that's, sometimes he'll focus on Mayavadis. But actually, most of the world, until we run into Prabhupada, we don't know what is this Mayavadi impersonalist thing. But scientists, that's it, because like everyone can know what is the scientist thing. We learn that from kindergarten. And then Prabhupada's really helping us see how brainwashed we are by this most, it's a very, it goes right to the root of material civilization. It's definitely the new religion. It's the new blind faith. So Prabhupada just takes the opportunity to just attack, expose, like that, shine light on the ignorance.
My favorite part of the purport is when Prabhupada speaks about Brahma going to Dwarka. In Prabhupada's words, it's like I feel like Prabhupada is seeing it. It's really helpful for him. Like I could tell this story, and I did tell this story not so long ago in one of the class. But I'm not sensing that Prabhupada is telling a story.
Right. He's sharing what he's seeing.
Yeah.
He's sharing his experience.
Yeah, and he's, for him it's like reality. It is reality.
Nice, yeah. Thanks for highlighting that. Yeah, and with that purport, and that's the thing. Yeah, like everything. It's like, yeah, you can feel for Prabhupada. There's nothing theoretical.
Yeah, even more so is at the end of his life. He's emaciated. his body is finished already 4 weeks. His body was finished. And so in terms of anything someone wants in the material world, he has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And not that he had something to lose before, but like we can see that, yeah, he always come from that place. I have nothing to lose, because now that he really, from the material point of view, have nothing to lose, his purpose don't change. He's the same.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Again, we use this term experience or experience because, when someone is owning their experience and communicating, they're powerful. So just what you shared, that's to the highest degree, because every translation and purport, every lecture, Prabhupada's speaking so much philosophy, but it's completely sharing his realized experience.
Yeah.
Whether it's about Brahma and the cowherd boys, or whether he's talking about
the scientist.
Yes, whatever it is. Yeah, he's sharing his experience, and it's always his experience of realizing Krishna everywhere. So it's inconceivably potent.
The vision of eternity.
Yes, the vision of eternity. Okay, we can read text 45. Tamyam tamo vanaiharam Tarachir Ivahani Ahati Tara Mayasham Nihantyatmani Yunjata. Malini, would you like to read?
It's just you and I?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize that. As the darkness of snow on the dark night and the light of the glowworm in the light of day have no value, the mystic power of an inferior person who tries to use it against a person of great power is unable to accomplish anything. Instead, the power of that inferior person is diminished. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. When one wants to supersede a superior power, one's own inferior power becomes ridiculous. Just as a glowworm in the daytime and snow at night have no value, Brahma mystic power becomes worthless in the presence of Krishna. For greater mystic power condemns inferior mystic power. On the dark nights, the darkness produced by snow has no meaning. The glowworm appears very important at night, but in the daytime, its glow has no value. Whatever little value it has is lost. Similarly, Brahma became insignificant in the presence of Krishna's mystic power. Krishna's Maya was not diminished in value, but Brahma's Maya was condemned. Therefore, one should not try to exhibit one insignificant opulence before the great power.
Thank you.
So when you say Krishna, Brahma's Maya or Krishna's Maya, it's like their illusory potency.
Where are we looking?
The one before last, Krishna's Maya was not diminished in value, but Brahma's Maya was condemned.
I guess Maya there means power, energy.
Of illusion, illusory energy.
Yeah, Maya means illusion. So it's used here in terms of, I guess we can say the yogi's mystic powers is a type of Maya. Yeah. So that's my understanding of the meaning of Maya there.
Yeah, I like the darkness of the snow. I'm not sure what he's referring to here. Is Sukadev Goswami speaking to Maharaj Parikshit
Yes.
at that time?
Yeah.
So the darkness of the snow is a little bit difficult as an analogy. I understand the analogy, I understand the meanings, the glowworm and all that, but I never noticed the darkness of the snow. My experience of snow is that it makes light in the dark. So I'm just looking at the analogy itself, like I'm wondering what Sukadev Goswami's experience of snow is, because the snow for him will be in a Himalayan mountain, I imagine. Sukadev Goswami is like, and the snow is white, so the darkness of snow on the dark light of a glow. Yeah, that's just interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, your Zoom went out for a few seconds there. Yeah. You hearing me? Yeah, you're not coming through so clearly.
Wow. Yeah, maybe because the strong internet here since the semi.
Maybe it's my side. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not quite sure.
No,
I'm not really hearing you.
I'm not speaking now. Is that bad? It's really bad. Wow. I'm with you cannot. Well,
I'm not really hearing you now.
I'm going to come back.
Okay. Okay. Hello, Melanie.
Do you hear me?
I just heard you say, do you hear me?
No.
Sorry.
I'm
I'm not sure. No, you're not coming through, really.
yeah. You're coming to.
Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Should we try with videos off?
What?
Okay. Yes, so I'm not really quite sure what the darkness of the snow refers to, because it specifically says the darkness of snow on a dark night. So we know, like, when the moon's out, then the snow shines brightly. So maybe Shukadev Goswami specific saying on a night where the moon is dark, there's no moon, and then the snow doesn't reflect any light. And so, like, how useless that is. And that's like Brahma's mystic power or our attempts to resist Krishna. That's what I'm saying, because it specifically says on a dark night. Dark night.
Maybe even is white. It's useless even so it's
Okay, I'll read the next verse. Yeah, your sound's not coming through. I may as well put the video on because your sound's not coming through. Text 46. Tavat sarve vatsa pala pashyato jasyatat kshanat yadri shanta gana shama pita kosheya vasasa. Then, while Lord Brahma looked on, all the calves and the boys tending them immediately appeared to have complexions the color of bluish rain clouds and to be dressed in yellow silken garments. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. While Brahma was contemplating, all the calves and cowherd boys immediately transformed into Vishnu Murtis, having bluish complexions and wearing yellow garments. Brahma was contemplating his own power and the immense unlimited power of Krishna. But before he could come to a conclusion, he saw this immediate transformation. Text 47 and 48. Chatur Bhuja Shankha Chakra Gadara Jiva Panaya Kiritina Kundalino Harino Vanamalina Srivat Sangada Doratna Kambokankana Panaya Nupurai Katakir Bhatha Kati Sutrangulu Kati Sutranguli Yakai. Yes. Yeah. All these, translation, all those personalities had 4 arms holding conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus flower in their hands. They wore helmets on their heads, earrings on their ears, and garlands of forest flowers around their necks. On the upper portion of the right side of their chests was the emblem of the goddess of fortune. Furthermore, they wore armlets on their arms, the Kaustuba gem around their necks, which were marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, and bracelets on their wrists, with bangles on their ankles, ornaments on their feet, and sacred belts around their waists. They all appeared very beautiful. Purport: all the Vishnu forms had 4 arms with conch shell and other articles, but these characteristics are also possessed by those who have attained Sarupya Mukti in Vaikuntha and who consequently have forms exactly like the form of the Lord. However, these Vishnu forms appearing before Lord Brahma also possessed the mark of Srivatsa and the Kaustuba gem, which are special characteristics possessed only by the Supreme Lord himself. This proves that all these boys and calves were in fact directly expansions of Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, not merely his associates of Vaikuntha. Vishnu himself is included within Krishna. All the opulences of Vishnu are already present in Krishna, and consequently for Krishna to demonstrate so many Vishnu forms was actually not very astonishing. The Srivatsa mark is described by the Vaishnav Toshini as being a curl of fine yellow hair on the upper portion of the right side of Lord Vishnu's chest. This mark is not for ordinary devotees. It is a special mark of Vishnu or Krishna.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So we get some detailed information about that Srivatsa mark. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Kaustuba jewel.
Yes.
I read about it today from Madhavendra Puris. You remember in that? There is something about the Kaustuba jewel. What is it?
In that chapter, 4th chapter of Majjhila.
Yeah. I don't remember what it is.
It's been a few weeks since I read it. Yeah.
I just read it today and I don't know what it is.
Well, I just, since Prabhupada's making this point that that Vishnu is within Krishna. Yes, right. Vishnu himself is included within Krishna. So I was reading earlier today a lecture Prabhupada gave in Los Angeles in 1972 on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 28, Ete Chamsakla Pumsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swaya Indrari Vyakulam, Lokam Vidyanti Yuge Yuge. That verse, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So Prabhupada was just speaking in this lecture. I read the transcription of yes.
You were thinking about that Vishnu is included in Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the Vishnu emanates from Krishna, so I imagine that so the expansion of the cowherd boy and calves, they were all Vishnu's expansion, but he can cover them whatever way he wants to cover them.
Yeah.
And he covered them with the exact shape, form, test, intelligence, false ego, ego, and color and everything, then all his cowherd boys and friends.
Yeah. So Brahma is, he just has layers and layers of bewilderment now because he was like, yeah, so what's happening is Krishna, when I look there, then Krishna puts the boys there, but when I look there, he puts right there. What? And then just as he's trying to figure it out, then they all become Vishnu, including the calves. So he's just got perplexity upon perplexity.
Yeah. And then the Shrivasa, it's a curl of fine yellow hair on the upper portion of the right side of the chest of Vishnu. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But he said it's a mark. So is it really hair or it's a mark?
Well, it says it's a mark of fine yellow hair, and in the word for word or in the translation, it doesn't mention about hair or mark. It mentions the emblem of the goddess of fortune. Their chest was the so in the translation itself, it doesn't mention Srivatsa or hair. It mentions their chest was the emblem of the goddess of fortune. And Prabhupada's explaining that means the Srivatsa mark.
Yeah.
Now in the Sanskrit, the word Srivatsa is there, and it's translated in the word for word as bearing the emblem of the goddess of fortune on their chests.
Yeah, I see that. The emblem of the... Yeah, I was thinking that Srivatsa was tree mark. But I imagine it was like, you know how you see sometimes people marked with tree? Yeah. I was looking for Madhavendra Puri.
Yes.
Lord Chaitanya described a verse that was given to Madhavendra Puri from Srimati Radharani.
Yeah, that one, okay.
And then when Lord Chaitanya started describing, he said, as a Kostubhamani is considered the most precious and valuable stone. This verse similarly considers the best of poem dealing with the mellow devotional service. So that's that. I knew I read it today, so
Right. Okay, so
to connect the two because my mind wanted to know.
Yeah, nice. Lord Chaitanya is comparing that special verse from Madhavendra Puri to this Srivatsa and Kaustubha marks.
Kostuba, the Kostuba term, yeah.
Kaustubh, yeah. And the verse is, yeah, because we read Madhavendra Puri is the one who revealed the Madhurya Rasa in our parampara.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's amazing to me that Madhavacharya and all the Acharya before Madhavendra Puri were not learned in the rasa of conjugal love when they were so much more qualified than we are in so many ways. So it's
I'm not sure if it's accurate to say it that way. It could be that because there's Madhvacharya and then there's like about a dozen or 13 that we don't really know anything about other than they're on the list that Prabhupada gives us. Maybe they were fully realized and it wasn't their service to make it part of their teachings.
I see. I don't remember.
I lost your sound again.
But hold on now because some. Me?
You can try speaking.
I spoke, but yeah. Prabhupada describes that. Or if you say, like you say, may have realized those rasa not be, it wasn't part of something that was part of their teaching.
Right. Yeah, just like, let's say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna.
To see if I could fix it. Hello.
Yeah.
If I could fix them.
Your voice is kind of in and out. But yeah, I mean, I think I got the gist of what you said. It's just like Jesus didn't teach much about the rasas, like that. But it doesn't mean that Jesus had no realization of rasas with Krishna. Maybe he did, but he says, I have much more to say, but you cannot bear it. And just like the Buddha had so much realization, maybe full realization of Goloka Vrindavan. Shankaracharya had so much realization of Bhagavan realization. But, they each had their services about what to share as part of their body of teachings.
Point.
Yeah. So so in our parampara, Krishna reveals the rasas through, he reveals the Madhurya Ras through Madhvacharya. No, through Madhavendra Puri, rather. Yeah, I'm hearing your voice off and on, kind of. Hare Krishna. Okay. So I'll read text 49. Angri mastakam apurnas tulasi nava dhamabhi kumalai sarva gatreshu ori punyavad arpitai. Translation. Every part of their bodies, from their feet to the top of their heads, was fully decorated with fresh, tender garlands of tulasi leaves offered by devotees engaged in worshiping the Lord by the greatest pious activities, namely hearing and chanting. Purport: the word Buri Punyavad Arpitai is significant in this verse. These forms of Vishnu were worshipped by those who had performed pious activities, Sukriti B, for many births and who were constantly engaged in devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Bhakti, devotional service, is the engagement of those who have performed highly developed pious activities. The accumulation of pious activities has already been mentioned elsewhere in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 12, 11, where Shukadeva Goswami says, Itam satam brahma sukana bhutya dasyan katanam paradaivatena maya shitanam naradarakena sakam vijaru krita punya punja. Quote, those who are engaged in self-realization, appreciating the Brahman effulgence of the Lord, and those engaged in devotional service, accepting the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Master, as well as those who are under the clutches of Maya, thinking the Lord an ordinary person, cannot understand that certain exalted personalities, after accumulating volumes of pious activities, are now playing with the Lord in friendship as cowherd boys. And then Prabhupada continues. In our Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, there is a tamal tree that covers an entire corner of the courtyard. Before there was a temple, the tree was lying neglected, but now it has developed very luxuriantly, covering the whole corner of the courtyard. This is a sign of Buri Punya.
Buri Punya.
Yes. So in the word for word, Buri Punyavat Arpitai, which were offered by devotees engaged in the greatest pious activity, worshiping the Supreme Lord by hearing, chanting, and so on.
So the Buri Puja is for the tree?
The what?
The Buri Punya that Prabhupada is setting at the end is the tree or the people who are chanting around the tree?
I think he's referring to the devotees chanting around the tree and how much service they've done, and so the tree is naturally thriving. I think that's what Prabhupada's saying, because he's writing this in 77, so for 3 years or so they're doing so much service in that temple with the tree right there in the courtyard. So he's saying so that the tree is benefiting from all this transcendental sound vibration.
Mm. You know, there is some controversy, I think, in Vaishnav Siddhanta about pious activity. Mm-hmm. Because there is verses where it says that no amount of pious activities is going to equate, or like even a moment of service to Krishna or one chanting of Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
And then some people say, unless you have done a lot of pious activity, you're not going to be able to chant Hare Krishna. So the Sukriti, I think, have so many controversy around it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Right.
Did you hear me?
Yes, I did.
You hear me correctly now?
Yes.
I don't know what's the difference.
Yes, I hear you correctly now. I'm hearing you nicely.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, and so, I don't think there needs to be controversy. I mean, for me, I think it's different perspectives of the truth and relationships between these principles of transcendental bhakti and essentially sattva gun, pious like that. So bhakti is not dependent on sattva gun. At the same time, practically speaking, we kind of need to cultivate sattva and sadhana in order for bhakti to self-reveal herself in our hearts. But bhakti is not dependent, well, on pious activities, on sattva, or even let's take it in terms of sadhana, right? Like we could say, okay, talk with a third person. Yes, because he chants his rounds so rigorously and he comes to morning program and he knows so many Bhagavatam verses, and therefore his heart's full of bhakti. So that's true and not true, right? Because this transcendental bhakti, Krishna in the heart, devotional service, it's not dependent on one's sadhana. It's not dependent on how hard one tries. It's not dependent on how suchi one is. It's completely independent. So in one sense to say, he or she, they got bhakti because they had such staunch sadhana or like that. At the same time, Krishna is noticing. Krishna is noticing that, here's a dedicated soul who chants their rounds every day, and they went out to distribute Bhaktivedanta Swami's books for so many years, and they're coming to Mangalarti at 5 a.m., 7 days per week. So Bhakti, Krishna, they are inspired by the sattvic pious activity, but they're not dependent on it. So
it's not like a mechanical process.
It's not mechanical, right?
And bhakti doesn't depend on sukriti.
Right.
And sukriti may help get back.
Yeah.
Bhakti. It makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So Prabhupada speaking about his Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan and the Tamal tree in the courtyard.
Yeah. Sukriti is the same.
I'm not really hearing you at this point now.
It is the same.
I think your voice went out again. So I will read text 50. Chandrika Vishada Smirai Saruna Panga Vikshitahi Svakartanam Iva Raja Satvabhyam Srashtri Halaka. Translation. Those Vishnu forms, by their pure smiling, which resembled the increasing light of the moon, and by the sidelong glances of their reddish eyes, created and protected the desires of their own devotees, as if by the modes of passion and goodness. Purport. Those Vishnu forms blessed the devotees with their clean glances and smiles, which resembled the increasingly full light of the moon, Shreyakara Vachandrika Vitaranam. As maintainers, they glanced upon their devotees, embracing them and protecting them by smiling. Their smiles resembled the mode of goodness, protecting all the desires of the devotees, and the glancing of their eyes resembled the mode of passion. Actually, in this verse, the word Raja means not passion, but affection. In the material world, Rajogun is passion, but in the spiritual world, it is affection. In the material world, affection is contaminated by Rajagun and Tamagun, but in the Shuddha Sattva, the affection that maintains the devotees is transcendental. The word Svakartanam refers to great desires. As mentioned in this verse, the glance of Lord Vishnu creates the desires of the devotees. A pure devotee, however, has no desires. Therefore, Sanatana Goswami comments that because the desires of devotees whose attention is fixed on Krishna have already been fulfilled the Lord's sidelong glances create variegated desires in relation to Krishna and devotional service. In the material world, desire is a product of Rajagun and Tamagun, but desire in the spiritual world gives rise to a variety of everlasting transcendental service. Thus, the word Svakartanam refers to eagerness to serve Krishna. In Vrindavan, there is a place where there was no temple, but a devotee desired, let there be a temple and seva, devotional service. Therefore, what was once an empty corner has now become a place of pilgrimage. Such are the desires of a devotee.
Nice. So aligned with what I read about Madhavan Rapue today.
Yes, about his intention, his desires. Yeah.
And how strong it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I love that, to imagine all those Vishnu forms, because they are all Krishna. You know, their protection and protect the desire of their own devotees. It's so nice to imagine all of them, and they are just like blessing Lord Brahma.
Mm-hmm.
It's one person, it's also all the Vishnu.
Yes. Very, yeah, affection, very, very affectionate, transcendental affection. And Prabhupada,
Raja.
Prabhupada making the distinction between material affection in Raja and transcendental affection in Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness.
In a word forward, it says Raja Sadvabhyam, by the mode of passion and goodness.
Where does it say that?
Yes. In a word forward,
On the word
say Raja Sadvabhyam.
Yeah, by the modes of passion and goodness. Right, the sidelong glances are the passion, and the pure smiling is goodness.
Chandrika smile by pure smiling like a pure glance. Beautiful.
Yeah, in both of the last paragraphs of each of the last two verses, Prabhupada is just so humbly, powerfully speaking about himself and the Vrindavan temple. In the last paragraph here, in Vrindavan there is a place where there was no temple, but a devotee desired, let there be a temple and seva, devotional service. Therefore, what was once an empty corner has now become a place of pilgrimage. Such are the desires of a devotee.
And yet he was speaking about, I was speaking.
I'm not here really.
Pardon me. I was speaking.
Well, because in the last sentences of the previous purport, he's specifically talking about the Krishna Balaram temple. I'm really getting that here in the end of the purport of text 50, he's also speaking about the Krishna Balaram temple. I mean, I think for sure it also applies to all the temples that the Goswamis established, Madan Mohan, Raman, Reti, or Gopinath. But I think Prabhupada's specifically talking about his desire to manifest the temple there in Vrindavan.
That's beautiful. May I ask you a question about tomorrow's class?
Okay.
The pastime with Narayana Rishi, I didn't find any pastime beside, there is something in the Bhagavatam, his birth, the pastime about the woman repeats and to Narayana Rishi. It's not in the Bhagavatam.
I think it's like 11th canto. I think it's 11th canto. It's, if I remember correctly. I can take a search.
I have the 11th canto. Do you remember what chapter?
No, that I won't remember. You have it online, you're saying?
I could put it out online.
What's that?
I could.
You're thinking to read it?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. Well, one thing I was thinking about in terms of that, there's a class where Prabhupada specifically says, like he says many times, he goes, and woman doesn't mean woman. For a woman, man is woman. Woman is, and then Prabhupada, he refers to the pastime in the 9th canto, like on Kailash, where Shiva, to please Parvati, he agreed that any man who sets foot there will become a woman. And we know the 9th canto has all sorts of sex change stuff. And Prabhupada talks about it. And he says, yeah, woman means that which is enjoyable. And so he talks about like it doesn't mean like a particular body, but it's a principle. So I thought that could be relevant to bring in to the class tomorrow.
Yeah, but he used the word male. He didn't use the word man. He used the word male. You understand? There is a difference there. Male, female. He didn't use the word man.
Uh-huh.
I'm clear about what I want to speak about. Besides, I wanted to say more about, I wanted to learn more about Narayana Rishi because it's an enigma for me. Sometimes it's an incarnation, sometimes it's a Satyavesh avatar, sometimes it's only one person, sometimes it's a twin. I'm just very unclear about who Narayana Rishi is and that pastime. And I don't know where I can find about that specific pastime. I don't see any of the title of the chapter saying anything about that pastime. So maybe it's within one of those chapters, but I will not know which one.
Okay. Uh-huh. There's just a brief mention, Canto 3, Chapter 4, Text 22. That's just a brief mention.
Yeah, I found a few brief mention too. I can.
Okay, hold on. Oh, you found a few brief mention. Okay.
Yeah, I found a Canto 5 also.
Uh-huh. But that's just brief mention. Canto 4, there's a little bit.
Canto 4? I didn't find anything in Canto 4.
No, you didn't find anything towards the beginning of Canto 4?
Well, I'm not saying I didn't find anything in Canto 4. I didn't look in Canto 4, but there is nothing that I found that came from Canto 4. You understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, yeah. Okay.
What does it say there?
Well, the first chapter describes about Dharma and Morti and how they gave birth to Narayan Rishi. Doesn't describe too much about his pastimes. Okay, hold on. I wanna, Canto 4, Chapter 1 has many references to Narayan Rishi, actually.
And it didn't come up at all in my research online.
Oh, online just doesn't compare to having the folio.
No, I'm complaining all the time that I don't know how to use a folio.
Okay, so I'm telling you, so Canto 4, starting text 49 through text...
Chapter 1?
Chapter 1, and it looks like, through text 59. Yeah, right.
Okay. And then you say in 11 cantos, that story about he was sent ladies that wanted to trouble him and he passed the test.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get more details here. Okay. Yeah, here in Canto 11, Chapter 2, Text 13, Narayan Rishi was Narada Muni's spiritual master. Like that. But, okay, I'm looking for the extensive pastime. Okay.
I'm not going to read it from the 11th canto, but I just want to read it.
Right. Okay. Okay. Seems to be a little bit in the 4th chapter of 11th canto, but it's not the full pastime. Hold on. I think we're getting there.
You remember reading it, huh?
Yes. Fourth chapter, 11th canto seems to have something about, Okay, 4th chapter of 11th canto. The chapter is entitled Drumila Explains the Incarnations of Godhead to King Nimi. And you got the, like, here's the 12th verse, for example. While the demigods were thus praising the Supreme Lord, the all-powerful Lord suddenly manifested before their eyes many women who were astonishingly gorgeous, decorated with fine clothes and ornaments, and all faithfully engaged in the Lord's service. As I just read, but there's a whole series of verses, and you got the pastime there. You got the pastime there. At 4th chapter, 11th canto. I mean, there could be other places too, but that's seems to be one place. I think that is Indra tried to tempt him.
Oh, Indra is the one who did that.
I think so, yeah.
Because in the verse in the Bhagavatam, it says about Cupids.
Cupid, well, I think maybe Cupid acting under Indra, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, 4th chapter, 11th canto. The Supreme Lord of Lords then smiled slightly and told the representatives of heaven who were bowing down before him, please choose one of these women, whomever you find suitable for you. She will become the ornament of the heavenly planets. Vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the servants of the demigod selected Urvasi, the best of the Apsaras. Okay.
There's a lot of story with her, huh?
In where?
In the Bhagavatam, there is a story with Urvasi.
Yes.
It's familiar.
Yes, yeah. I'm continuing to look here. Okay, chapter 8 of Canto 12 is entitled Markandeya's Prayers to Narayan Rishi.
Yeah.
So that's chapter 8 of, yes. So I don't know, it's not so much pastimes of Narayan Rishi, but Markandeya Rishi, he's praying. He's praying to know. Yeah.
So what do you understand about Narayan? Is two people, is one person, is Vishnu, is not Vishnu? Because also it says that is like Krishna and Arjuna. So Krishna is a Vishnu Tattva and Arjuna is a Jiva Tattva.
Okay, well, it's an interesting incarnation, eh?
Yeah. It's always something I try to avoid because like Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva, Naram Chaiva, it seems that it's only one person, Narayan, the supermost human being. So it seems that one person, sometimes it's a twin, sometimes it's a one, sometimes it's God, sometimes it's not God. Everything I read about him, it doesn't make sense. It goes all over the place and it doesn't make sense.
Right.
I know that he's in By Dhira Ashram.
Right. Yeah.
That much I understand.
Right. So I don't have clarity other than I'd say it's this is definitely two personalities and kind of like we just read in the Bhagavatam about the four Kumaras, but they're talked about as one, but they're four, but they're talked about as one, like that. So this is two personalities, and we could say they are incarnations of God, like that. Just like sometimes we say, Ron. I lost your sound there.
It says that they are Satyavesh avatar.
Yeah, okay. So, okay. Here's Adi Leela, chapter 2, text 113. Some say, and Krishna's Kaviraj is saying, some say that Sri Krishna is directly Narayan. Others say that he is directly Vamana. So, if it says Shaktivesh usually, if not always, means Jiva Tattva, but I don't know.
Prabhupada says that in a conversation.
Yeah, and they're Shaktivesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will not say any about that tomorrow at the class. It's just my own.
Yeah, your own education.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you want to find out. You want to find out. Yeah, I see. I just found it. Prabhupada says Narayan Rishi was a Shaktivesh avatar. So that's clear.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I understand it, but
then how can he be Krishna and Arjuna?
Well, is there any rule that says a Shaktivesh cannot be Vishnu Tattva? All right. And, I think this is one of those out of the box things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because just like Lord Chaitanya, it's a different sort of appearance. It's no category. Radha Krishna, Radharani herself, it's a different thing. So Narayan, it's like we don't quite have a box for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We just don't have a box for.
Right. And Krishna is free to manifest an avatar that we don't have a box for.
Does he? I don't think he has the right to do that.
Well, yeah, I just want to confuse the situation right now, okay? So yes. This is a letter, Prabhupada to Jayadvaita, July 12th, 1970. And he's writing about editing. He writes, regarding your second point, all incarnations should be proper nouns and therefore capitalized. It does not matter whether they are Vishnu Tattva or Jiva Tattva, Shaktivesh Avatar or plenary expansion. The incarnations listed, however, may be classified as follows. Vishnu Tattva, Kapila, Narayana, Ram, Balaram, Krishna, the Purushas, the boar, Yagya, Rishabha, Matsya, Korma, Dhanvantari, Mohini, and Kalki. Jiva Tattva, empowered, Narada, Vyas, Buddha, Kumaras, Dattatreya, Prithu, and Bhrigupati. So here, in this letter to Jayadvaita, Prabhupada describes Narayana in the Vishnu Tattva class. That's July 12th, 1970. So that confuses things.
That confuses things because
I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing your voice. I'm not hearing.
He said, and in the Vishnu
I'm not hearing you.
Tattva.
No, yeah. Right, in the conversation he said Narayana is Shaktivesh, and here he says Vishnu Tattva. So I guess what's happening for me is how that maybe is not a contradiction is because where does it say that Shaktivesh has to be Jiva Tattva? And again, maybe Narayana. Not hearing you. And then, so maybe Narayana sometimes sometimes reveals themselves as Vishnu Tattva, sometimes a Shaktivesh avatar, because you get some sort of unusual integrated incarnation of Krishna and Arjuna, just like Lord Chaitanya is Radharani and Krishna. So Narayana is Krishna and Arjuna. So we got different tattvas there in one.
That's what it is.
I look forward to our Shastra study tomorrow morning. Hare Krishna, Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Thank you.
Hare.
Jai. Thank you.
Hare.